The email landed in her inbox like a bomb. 3 words stared back at her: "We need to talk." It was from her boss. Sarah's heart pounded. She knew what this meant. She had just returned from a brutal round of chemotherapy, her hair thin, her body aching. The doctor's diagnosis was still ringing in her ears: stage 3 ovarian cancer. A fight for her life. A fight she was determined to win. But the corporate world doesn't wait for battles to be won. It demands performance. Now, at the meeting, the words were cold, clinical, restructuring, performance metrics, not a good fit. They were firing her because she had cancer. A wave of ice and fire washed over her. It wasn't just the job, the salary, the security. It was the injustice. They saw her as a liability, a broken cog in their machine. As she walked out of that soulless glass building for the last time, a quiet rage began to simmer. They thought she was weak. They were about to find out how wrong they were. Back home, surrounded by medical bills that were piling up like snowdrifts, despair began to creep in. Her savings were dwindling, the chemo was draining her physically, and now the financial stress was draining her spirit. One sleepless night, scrolling through her phone, she stumbled upon an old folder of digital art she'd made in college: whimsical characters, fantastical landscapes, vibrant colors, whirled away from the sterile gray reality of hospital rooms and termination letters. She used to love it. It was a part of her she thought she had lost. A small idea, a tiny flicker of light, sparked in the darkness. What if she could share this world with others? With nothing left to lose, she opened an online store, naming it Phoenix Art. It felt fitting, rising from the ashes. She uploaded a few designs, simple prints of her colorful creatures, and wrote a short, honest bio: "Fighting cancer, fired from my job. Drawing to stay alive," literally. Then she fell into an exhausted sleep. The next morning, she woke to a single notification: "You have a new order." Her heart skipped a beat. Someone had bought a print for $20. It wasn't much, but it felt like a million. Then another, and another. Someone on social media had shared her story. The post went viral. Her honest, raw bio resonated with thousands. People weren't just buying art. They were buying a piece of her fight. They were sending messages of support, sharing their own stories of struggle and resilience. "Your art gives me hope. Keep fighting. We're with you. You inspired me to start painting again after my diagnosis." Each message was a dose of medicine. Stronger than any chemo, the orders poured in, from prints to custom commissions. Suddenly, she wasn't just Sarah, the cancer patient. She was Phoenix Art, the artist who was turning her pain into beauty. Her days transformed. Chemo appointments were now sandwiched between frantic packing sessions and creative brainstorming. The exhaustion was still there, a constant companion. But now it was laced with purpose. Her art evolved. The whimsical creatures began to carry swords and shields, battling shadowy monsters. The fantastical landscapes now had dark valleys and soaring, sunlit peaks. It was her journey, painted for the world to see. The art was her therapy, her voice, her rebellion. She hired a friend to help manage the logistics. Her little online store growing into a real business. One evening, she sat down to do her finances. She stared at the screen, her eyes wide. The numbers blurred. She had crossed the $100,000 mark in revenue. A tear rolled down her cheek, but this time, it wasn't a tear of sorrow or fear. It was a tear of pure, unadulterated triumph. 6 months later, another email landed in her inbox. This one was from the CEO of her old company. The subject line: "An opportunity." He had seen a news article about her, about the woman they fired who built a 6-figure business from her sick. The email was slick, full of corporate jargon about synergy and reevaluating our partnership. He was offering her job back, with a raise. He even proposed a collaboration, leveraging her brand for their corporate social responsibility campaign. Sarah read the email twice. The old her might have felt a surge of validation, a desire to go back and prove them wrong, but she wasn't that person anymore. She looked around her studio, the walls covered in vibrant art, the shelves filled with packages ready to be shipped to people all over the world. She thought of the messages, the community, the purpose she had found in her darkest hour. She clicked reply. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Thanks for the offer, she wrote, but my health is my priority now. And my business is my passion. You taught me a valuable lesson. Some things, like dignity and purpose, are not for sale. I am not a liability to be managed. I am an asset. I'm investing in myself. I wish you the best in your restructuring. She hit send. A wide, genuine smile spread across her face. This wasn't just about the money. This was about reclaiming her story. She didn't just say no to cancer. She said no to a world that tried to write her off. She had found her own way to heal, not just her body, but her soul. She picked up her stylus, a new world waiting to be born on the screen. The fight wasn't over, but now she was fighting on her own terms, armed with a paintbrush and an unbreakable spirit. If you or someone you know is facing a health crisis and needs support, remember you're not alone. Organizations like the Cancer Support Community and the National Coalition for Cancer Survivorship offer resources and a network of people who understand. Reaching out is a sign of strength. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters.